Hey everybody, welcome to the Cheshire Cast. I am your host, Corey.
I am your host, Trisha.
See, we're getting better at that. Every episode is like a learning experience for us, but we're, becoming more accustomed to Zoom, using this format while we're still physically distancing.
We're still quarantining-ish.
Yes. I've gone out a bit more. You?
I've been to Costco twice.
Okay.
And I shopped local at touchless curbside delivery. I try to order once a week from local places. So I've been doing that for 3 weeks. I've been out in the past probably like 55 days. I've been out about 5 times.
Wow. And everybody in the house is still good?
Everybody's still good. My husband goes back to work June 1st. So that's why the uptick in leaving the house. Got to get acclimated to exposure. The mentality of exposure. I don't mean so much as, we're definitely going to get sick. I just mean toe in the pool. That's where we are right now.
Sure. So we've got some new gear coming in. One of those things was waiting for you on the inside of the front door of my house today, but today was a busy day. I didn't want to touch
your doorbell.
Listen, I get it. It was a busy day today. It was one of those days where
I could have had a green screen. What would I put behind me? Crushing waves? What would I put? Something cool.
Maybe something to make it look like you're like riding a bike down a street or something.
Maybe.
Speaking of
like traffic whizzing by.
Yes. See,
pretending to
and
get
then you
exercise.
Could just kind of move.
Have you been to the trails in Cheshire? Have you been?
Yes.
How was it when you went?
People were pointing at me and laughing.
Well, that's normal. I meant like crowds for quarantine. Masks? Did you see masks? I think a mask would be in your favor.
It was difficult to see based on my own particular mask that day.
It was difficult to see other people?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think you were wearing your mask a bit too high. It's supposed to stop it's supposed to stop like here. No?
Maybe I was wearing like a full body thing.
Okay. I hope next time you go out, especially on the trail, since there's a lot of biking and exercising, that you clear your field of vision, Corey.
You're
an emergency guy.
I was reenacting one half of the scene from Naked Gun.
Which half?
Well, the half that required 2 people, but never mind. Bad joke. So the other thing I realized recently is I have a BMX bicycle, and the BMX,
like the old school freestyle one.
It's like 25 years old.
Okay.
I think it's a Haro, maybe it's a Skyway. I'm not sure. And my son has a bicycle that he got when he was 8. He doesn't use anymore. And then Ian, has his. So we were trying to, do like a family bike ride. And I'm like, yeah, I'll ride the BMX. And Connor doesn't want to ride the BMX. So
Can you still ride it?
I still ride it all the time.
Your knees aren't like all jacked up? It's
big. Of course they are.
Decent. Okay. That must look fun.
Yeah. I got the seat. I look stupid on it.
Well, that's probably half the fun for your kids.
Yeah. Well, maybe. So I'm in the market. I have to buy something new, which is part of the reason why this show is going to be good, because I have a bunch of questions before I buy. Would you like to do the introduction, Trisha?
No, you do the introductions.
Okay, fine. We have Dillon and Hunter from Cheshire Bike, which is down on Whitney Avenue, Hamden by Sleeping Giant.
Cheshire Cycle and Repair.
Is it Cheshire Cycle and Repair?
Not Cheshire Bike is Jim Jinks. He's been on the show so much. He probably had a little brain fry.
That's
Tonight
my fault.
We have on Cheshire Cycle and Repair. Dillon and Hunter, though, brothers who run the show.
And I did ask you to intro, and this is why.
Well, I didn't think I was ready, but apparently I was.
So we've
great time to have him on too.
We've learned already from the few minutes we spent before we started recording that Hunter is permanently attached to a bicycle. So any struggling you hear and any heavy breathing is going to be Hunter. He is in his
I told him
basement.
that exercise breathing is not allowed. He's just going to have to hold it in.
I'm trying to calm down and cool down. I'm in the last bit of my workout here. I hope nobody can hear me breathing hard.
No.
My heart rate is
can.
down to 134.
Nice.
That's resting.
And
It's on its way down. It's on its way down.
And you're indoors and enjoying a little sweat. So good for you.
Yep, I'm in a garage. That's right.
Perfect.
who's the older brother?
You say.
Oh,
You
too
get-
late. He already gave it away. My guess
Oh,
is
sorry.
Hunter.
I should have made you guys guess. Sorry.
Everybody thinks
Who
I
would
am.
you have guessed? Who would you have guessed?
I would have
In
guessed.
all honesty, I
you.
would have guessed Dillon.
Yeah.
I would have guessed Hunter.
Really?
Dillon?
Yeah.
Why would you guess Hunter? Everybody guesses me.
Because I have a younger brother that people always say they always think he's the big brother.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Got it.
So I
So
got
you would go
You
with
you have like an into the psychology of it all.
correct. Yes.
Yeah. Got it. Cool.
So you guys.
Well, thank you for having us. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took some encouragement. I had to go visit the shop and kind of talk about it to Dillon a little bit and kind of beg him to be interested, and he was a little bit.
I did a lot of messaging back and forth. Like, this is my last chance asking, guys. Seriously.
And we made it very difficult for you guys because Dillon can only be reached in the shop, and Dillon doesn't use Facebook at all. And I can basically be reached anytime via Facebook. So you guys found the wedge between us, and you exploited it perfectly.
Was email?
It happens. Divide and conquer. That's
What
the
is
secret to
Facebook?
success.
What is this Facebook you guys are speaking of?
Stay away. Stay away.
just-
Keep your homeschooled pureness. Don't
Yeah.
dip a toe.
Facebook is a land of information that nobody does any research on, so it's all assumed to be accurate.
It sounds like I would like this
conspiracy
place.
theories.
Yeah.
If you like conspiracy theories, right now is a great time to jump on in.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Dillon, stay away. You're not missing anything. It's true.
Oh, you know what's going to happen. In a few weeks, he's going to open it up and he's just going to be like constantly commenting and yelling at people in all caps on every single page he sees, just to get out 10 years worth of missing it.
Actually, Dillon's a little bit of a sucker for conspiracy theories. So, yeah, Dillon, probably stay away from Facebook.
The mustache gave it away.
I've only had this since the virus. This is a Corona stash. This is not a
That's
mustache.
6 weeks. That's 6 weeks worth of growth.
I had this bad boy in 12 days.
Nice. Well, you wear it well. Hunter, you definitely should.
You gotta get the handlebars.
He can't. Hunter can't. Hunter can't.
Nah, I get a creepy stash.
Yes. I see.
The kind that you should just stay away from children.
Yeah.
So you guys are down in Hamden, okay? You're right next. I grew up in Hamden, so you're right next to the Bottoms Up liquor store, which is that used to be a pharmacy 30 some odd
Wow,
years.
you're going way back.
You are going way back. Before it was a pharmacy. You know why it's built up 5 feet higher than the bike shop?
No.
It was an old coal loading station for the train. The train would stop, and some guy on the roof would throw coal in the top of the train. So that's why it's built up. Everyone wonders why it's 5 feet.
I had no idea.
That's like an old train gas station.
It's like an old train gas station.
Yep. And I used to buy garbage pail kids there.
Wow.
Yeah.
A double throwback.
Yep.
We're old.
Jeez.
We are old.
Wow.
It happens.
Yeah,
And
maybe
just
it was-
like that.
I think it was 35 years ago.
We mentioned Garbage Pail Kids way too many times on this show. This is probably their fourth. It's probably their fourth mention.
Yep.
Yes, I get phone calls all the time. Why am I called Cheshire Cycle and Repair if I'm located in Hamden?
What's the story? Is there a sketchy story behind it, or
There's
everything
not
just
a
happened naturally?
Not all stories have to be sketchy unless you
Why
want
not?
them. No,
Tell
it's
us
not.
the seediest version.
It's it's a pretty simple story. When I took over the shop, I was just trimming some fat, and I wanted to relocate to a smaller location. When there were 3 bike shops in Cheshire, so there was a lot of competition going on.
Cheshire. It was in Cheshire.
It was in Cheshire, yeah. So we moved it down the hill to where the trail would have passed through on West Main Street, down near the new Stop and Shop gas station. We moved it down there, and we were there for about 10 years waiting for the trail to come through. We moved down there in 01 because they said the trail would be connected in 02. And it did not, it just kind of never happened, as I'm sure a lot of the people listening know. So we moved out of that location in 11, and then it did connect past there shortly after.
Mm-hmm.
Timing.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I decided instead of waiting for the trail to come to me, I would go to the trail. So the only other commercial property anywhere in that area that borders the trail is down in Hamden, where the trail comes close to Route 10. So that's why I moved it down to that location, so I could be on the trail and still maintain a good traffic flow with cars.
Yeah.
Explain to our listeners who aren't local, why is a bike shop good to have along a trail, a linear trail?
A lot of people ride on that trail, so they're going to get flats. They're going to need help. You could also do a rental business when you're located on the side of a trail. So you want to stay close to that trail. It's a highway. It's like an Arby's on the side of a highway, or a McDonald's. It's the reason why you want to be there. There's bikes there all the time. People have issues. They need things, and they want to have a close bike shop to the trail. So we're on the side of the trail. It's literally on the bike shop's property. It's on my property now.
So the trail is how long? Do you know? How many miles long?
I don't know the exact miles. Huh? Do you know the miles? I know it goes from
start to finish.
Yeah, from like New Haven to Massachusetts, right?
Yeah, it's the entire length of the state. There's 6 miles of it that aren't paved in Southington, North Southington, and the town to the north of that, Plainville, right? Plainville, and
I want to say it's like 42 miles.
42.
You're standing up again. That doesn't look like cooling down.
The Farmington Canal Heritage Trail is an 81.2 mile multi-use rail trail located in Connecticut and Massachusetts.
81. Yeah. So you can get a really good bike exercise in that amount of miles.
Yes. And I have customers that start in New Haven and go up to Massachusetts and turn around and come back in a day.
160 miles of biking.
Yeah, I mean, they don't go too far up into Massachusetts, so it turns into about a 100-mile ride.
Which looks like what Hunter's finishing up.
Is he finishing? I think he lied.
Well, it's important to cool down when you work out.
It is.
Patricia, you and
I, your muscles.
I know we're not real good with this workout information, but I remember from the one time I had a personal trainer, and that one time I did an exercise, he made it clear that it was important after the run to cool down.
I played sports my whole life. Totally aware. Warm up, cool down, just as important. Does make it hurt a lot less too. Now I know you massage your muscles during your warm down too, and that's supposed to help with the lactic acid. That's smart. I didn't know that when I was young. But I bet
think
now
at this point I'm just riding because I don't know where else to go and still be on camera. So this is like the most photogenic place I've got.
Look what you did. Now you got to ride the waves the whole time.
I really did. I stuck myself here because I can't go anywhere else. I'm in a garage.
And that's where the camera is.
You guys live.
I'm gonna have to keep spinning. If you guys want to do like a marathon show, I mean, you can literally go until I drop.
Are you generating electricity that's running your phone right now? Is that how this works?
He's generating electricity that runs this show.
Don't laugh. There's places in the world that they have to do that. So
I'm sure
they're probably better off for it too, both with electricity and their physical health.
You guys,
that's right.
You guys live in Cheshire, in Hamden, surrounded.
I live in Chester.
Yep. Whole life. Well, pretty much our whole lives.
Yeah. And how did you get started with the bike shop? I mean, did you start when it was up where Main Street Cafe is, or?
Exactly. Yeah, I took over the business going on 20 some odd years ago, Dillon took it over from me, when we moved locations. So I've been a cyclist my entire life, and I knew the guys who owned the shop previously, and we made a deal work out, and that's how it happened.
So you sold the shop to your brother?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's your part in it now? Are you just his employee?
No, he doesn't
No,
have
I
much
take-
of a part in it. He's
I
the
take care
face of he's the outdoor
He
face.
advertises. He wears the logo on the back of his shirt as he sprints by on the trail.
Okay.
Yeah,
Every
that-
shop needs
yeah.
a fast guy. Every shop needs a fast guy to ride around with.
Oh, Corey, you had to ask that question, Corey. You had to ask that question. Oh, I'm not gonna get the end of it now.
Well, I've worked with my brother in certain periods of our life. I'm not working with him now. I know how difficult that can be, regardless of how fond or not fond of each other you are. And I know that feeling bounces up and down too. So, I wanted to find out what the dynamic was there.
Would you consider that?
Dillon. Actually, Dillon is a much better suited to own a bicycle shop than I am. Dillon he's very hands-on, and he's much better mechanically with working on bicycles than I ever was. So it was just a much better fit for him. I take care of any kind of special projects, special advertising, graphic design,
Social media.
exactly, that kind of stuff.
Oh, right.
He takes care of the Facebook page because clearly I don't know what that is.
It's
great.
important.
It's great, Corey. We actually don't really need to see each other all that much. I'm behind the computer.
That's perfect.
He's behind the workbench.
Well, that works.
Yep.
It does. Yeah, it
Yes.
works out.
Well, what's business like right now, and what's it been like for the last 2 months since March? I mean, have you seen an uptick because people are out, or is it a struggle? I mean, what's going on with this COVID crap?
What is going on with a bike shop in the world of COVID right now? Huh? That's the question.
The trail's
My word,
packed.
let me tell you, it is a zoo. It is an absolute zoo at the bike shop right now. What has happened is, I'd say early April, there were a few front runners, people who knew what was going to happen, people who saw this coming and pretty much were starting to buy bikes then, without the weather really breaking, without it being that first nice 75-degree Saturday. We're always looking for that first 70-degree Saturday to really kick things off. Without that 75-degree Saturday, we were still selling bicycles. There were people that knew that they were stuck at home, their kids were stuck at home. They wanted, maybe the kids had bikes, but the parents didn't, or vice versa. And we need the whole family to have bikes because that's what we're going to do. We're going to go out and we're going to go ride bikes on weekdays, Saturday, not just Saturday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's go ride a bike. So there was a lot of sales happening. Then I would say, 3 weeks ago? When was that panic buy article, Hunter? Where was that? 2 weeks ago? There was.
Yeah, it was closer to 3 weeks ago.
There was a panic buy article. I don't remember who wrote it. It was on Bicycle Retailer, but after that, everybody ran out of bikes.
Outside Magazine ran it, and I think a lot of people saw it there. Outside Magazine.
Oh yeah, Outside Magazine ran a panic buy article where bikes were just selling and people were just buying bikes. And after that, it was just there's no bikes left. And it's not just I don't have bikes. It's the manufacturers don't have bicycles, and the distributors don't have bicycles
Because they've sold out or production has slowed.
No.
Both.
Here, now let me tell you how bikes. Let's inform the listeners how bikes work when it comes to when you buy a bicycle at a bike shop. Let's say you buy a 2020 bike shop. You come into Cheshire Cycle and Repair and you say, "I want that Jamis." Jamis is one of my biggest brands. They sell out of New Jersey, local company, awesome stuff since '79 or something like that. You want a Jamis bicycle? You buy that bike that says 2020 on it. The owner of Jamis, they purchased that bike back in 18. Maybe they sorted out those parts and they rented the warehouse to build it. They rented the people to make it and box it. It's been in production for a year and a half, maybe two. Bikes, it's not a quick thing. Bikes they're in the channel for a long time before they actually land in a bike shop. And they do predictive kind of, they try to predict how many they're going to sell, and they may be increased by a couple percentage points here or there, but they didn't, obviously, this was not predicted. So the 2020 bikes that were purchased a year and a half ago, those are now sold out, and they can't just flip a switch and make more bikes appear. That's for 2021. And we're probably going to have a supply problem in 2021. The production really hasn't been that affected because the bikes that we sold out of were purchased before coronavirus even existed. And the bikes that we're going to be getting in 2021 might be affected then by the coronavirus. But it wasn't a production issue. There's a delay in these bicycles, and what has sold out for good, and we're probably not going to see new bikes until September or October.
So your shop, I've been in your shop, and it's always packed with bikes. So you're saying your shop right now is empty?
No. So what's in there right now is about 60. I need people to pick up their repairs. Okay. And there's about 65 bikes in there. I'd say about 20 are bikes that need to get repaired, and about 25, 30 of them are bikes that need to get picked up. And then there are probably 10 or so north of $3,000 to $4,000 bicycles. And there are probably about 10 or 15 bikes that are valuable, in my opinion, but not very rideable to the average person, like older road bikes, classier bikes, older Raleigh 3-speeds, bikes that have good value, but they're not very rideable today, that kind of fill in the rest. But the only new bikes I have left are north of $3,000.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What's a $3,000 bike? Like,
I don't know, Hunter, hold it up.
What?
just so you can see it on
pop a wheelie.
Pop a wheelie, Hunter. Show him your bike.
I mean,
you're not on a stationary bike? I'm confused.
No, he's on a bike in a trainer.
I'm on my own bicycle, and it's connected to a stationary trainer.
You should show. This is fascinating. This is a new thing. This has only been out for like 2 years. You remove the rear wheel of the bicycle and you lock it into a device that measures your power output. It's horribly accurate. Way better.
And connects to a battery. Come on. Tell me you're generating electricity.
We already did that joke, Trisha.
It's not a joke. I'm talking about Ed Begley Jr. Like, he legit rides a bike to power stuff.
But we did that already. We already made that joke. We can't go backwards.
I didn't mention Ed Begley. Come on. This is my first dropping. I'm dropping names now.
Is Ed Begley Jr. still alive?
Yes, and he's riding his bike to run his toaster. Yes.
Well, he's staying healthy then.
I don't know if he's alive. I don't know. I'm assuming. I haven't heard of his demise. You guys are... So I grew up in the city, and we picked up our bikes at like Toys R Us in a box. So you guys this is an entirely different world that I don't think I've ever, as a city person, partaken in. But now I'm realizing, as I've been in Connecticut, that people there's different size bikes and different types of rides that people prefer. Do you have parents coming in just like, I want to teach my 6-year-old how to ride a bike? Do you have one in mind for like a starter set, or are you guys like I don't know, like serious bikes only?
No, we do entry level bikes. No, we got them all.
So you have like Huffy or whatever, like kids?
Oh no. We have bike shop quality bikes. And we have a full line of bike shop quality bikes, but like the whole Walmart thing is a little we don't carry what we call a department store bike. We're like a Target or
you
a
went
Walmart
outside
bike. Those are low.
You went outside and your audio is changing. You're cutting in and out.
Oh, it is?
It did, yeah.
Yeah. You've got your department store lines, Trish, and then you've got your bike shop lines, and I believe that's...
And they don't cross. So bike shops won't...
I don't believe they cross at all.
I wouldn't know
there's
that.
There's a saying in the industry, I'd rather push my bike than ride a bike from Walmart.
Well, I don't know about Walmart. So, but like Target and Costco sell bikes in price friendly ranges where people who wouldn't necessarily go to a bike shop would pick up. But you would sell something in that price range, in that user range. You're not just top tier racing bikes. Okay.
And actually, if you took a look at it and really kind of looked at it from a high level view, when you buy a department store bike, you end up probably putting just as much money into servicing and taking care of it and getting it set up correctly initially, that if you had just put that money into an actual bike store bike, you would have purchased a bike from a local retailer, developed a relationship with your local bike shop, and probably spent just as the same amount or even probably less over the life of the bike.
So for people like me who didn't even realize bike shops existed, like my son he's 10, he just learned how to ride a bike. He just went out with his brother and he crashed his bike, of course. He's semi-injured, nothing permanent, character building, but it's a Mongoose. I don't know if you're even familiar with that brand. I don't know if it's a brand that's nameable, but his handlebar twisted so hard and so fast that he snapped the brake line. So that would be something to bring it into a bike shop for, and that could be repaired.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
we work on.
And you can do the repairs on those bikes? Okay. Good.
Yeah, we work on department store bikes all the time. Definitely.
Okay.
And to add to what Hunter was saying, when you buy a bike from a bike shop, generally you'll get either a year of free tune-ups, or what Cheshire Cycle does, we do lifetime free tune-ups. So tune-ups are running $70 right now. So a bicycle will need a tune-up almost annually if you use it a lot. So to add to
what are you tuning up on a bike?
It's strings.
Changing the oil, replacing the fluids, that kind of stuff.
Explain to me and the listeners who have no idea. You have to understand that people who are listening might not necessarily go into a bike shop ever in their lives. So, but we do have bikes, right? So, relatably, what do you tune up on a bike? I have no idea.
So the shifter talks to a derailleur. When you click a shifter on your handlebars, you shift a gear on a derailleur, and those need to be tuned to be in sync.
Oh, the gears, those
yes.
Okay.
Yes, you need to make it so that it's not clicking or grinding, that when you actually throw a shift and you click the shifter, you actually send the derailleur into the right spot and throw a positive shift when you want to. Because otherwise you'll get wear and you'll get noises, and the ride won't be as enjoyable. So that's with shifting.
You probably wear down pieces too.
Yeah, you'll ruin chains and cogs and chain rings and things like that. But also braking, we want to make sure brakes are safe. That's a real safety issue, brakes that don't work. So we need to make sure brakes are tight, and we need to make sure the wheels are true, because a lot of times you're braking on the wheels, your brake pads are touching the rim, so the rim needs to spin true. And so we adjust brakes, we adjust shifting, we take care of bearings, what the hubs are. The front wheel rides on bearings, the bottom bracket, what you pedal on, that rides on bearings as well. So we need to service all those things and make sure they're working nicely.
And that will extend the life of the bike, save you money over the long term.
Of the bike, but more importantly, it will also make the ride more enjoyable,
and safer.
Yeah, safer. People are busy. If you're going to spend an hour on a bicycle, if you want to chunk out an hour of your day on a bicycle, or 2 hours, or if you're Hunter, you want to put 23 hours a day on a bicycle, you're going to
look. He already checked his social media. He's doing a podcast. He has not left that seat.
He's going to
take dinner out soon and just start eating.
You're going to want the ride to be enjoyable. You're going to want the bike to work well and be enjoyable, because if not, then you're wasting time. A lot of people don't have fun on their bikes if they're not working right.
So while you guys were talking, I just decided to go on the internet here and Google some bikes.
Okay.
Because
he looked up the most expensive bikes. We're going to
talk about. Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
No, I just maybe some Uber, but so tell me. I mean, there's some bikes out here that I'm looking at that are $6,700, there's some bikes out here that are $8,400, $10,000, 13 grand. Like, why?
You have a thing for cars. I could say the same thing about like a Ferrari. So
True.
But
people who are into it are into it.
No. I can sit in a Ferrari and I can tell you exactly why that Ferrari's worth $275,000.
And there's a person out there like this guy that could sit on that bike and tell you the exact same thing about the bike.
Hey, this guy, everybody.
This guy.
So tell me, I mean, seriously, the 13 grand bike, I mean, is that a bike that is just made for the guy who can drop 13 grand just because? Or I mean, what makes a bike that expensive?
It's made with electrolytes.
You want to take that one, Hunter?
It's very marginal difference. It's small, tiny differences in the quality of the products or the quality of the parts, the craftsmanship of the frame, the materials of the frame, the lightness of the frame, the aerodynamics of the frame and the parts, and how all of those things work together to be as aerodynamic as possible. There's actually a surprising amount of research that goes into the top tier of racing bikes, like the guys like the Tour de France are on. Those we're talking F1 car level research that goes into some of these bikes. So that's got to get paid for. But yeah, exactly. But eventually that stuff trickles down to the lower tier, and that's what 95% of, probably 98% of people are riding, is the bikes that cost, like we're talking road bikes that you can race on and be very proud of, less than $3,000, $4,000 for sure.
But still, that's I mean, that's a ton of money for a bicycle. It just sounds like a crazy amount, even $4 grand.
Is that what bicycle enthusiasts are paying?
Yeah. When we race, you're competing on a bicycle. You're going up against people who've at least spent $1,500 to $4,000 or $5,000 for their bicycles. But you don't need to spend that much to have a bicycle that you're going to race on. But look at it from a function of like how much time you spend on that bicycle. And in reality, if you look at it over the entire course of a year, you spend a lot of time on that, and it, $3,000-$4,000 doesn't actually end up being that much when you consider the amount of time an enthusiast will spend riding a bike.
Okay.
Like equate that to movie theater tickets. You're saying like over the course of movies,
yeah.
Right? A year's worth of movies. If you're biking instead, that would add up. If that's your hobby.
Or my beer tab.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Or beers.
My Amazon expenditures.
A nice DSLR is going to run you $2 grand, and how many hours do you play with that? You put 4 hours a day on a high-end bike, and you do that 3 times a week. You've put a lot of hours on that bicycle, because that frame, nothing's really going to tell you that bike needs to go away anytime soon. You'll replace wear and tear parts, but the bike itself, the expensive part, the frame and the wheels, will last for quite some time. I'm working on bikes that are 8-9 years old, so we're talking hundreds and hundreds of saddle hours on that bicycle. So it really breaks down to just being pennies a ride, even if you've bought a very expensive bike.
Now, to be in the business as long as you guys have, I mean, you've got to be passionate about biking in general.
I hate bikes. I hate it. I hate them.
You clearly are.
Or the opposite.
But I think...
Or you're over it completely.
I think you also have to be into working with your hands, building something, fixing something. So where did the passion come from? Where did the desire to get into this come from? Did you just fall into it and know for sure? Or?
No, Hunter and I both received our passion for cycling from our father. He bought his first nice road bike probably in 1990, 91 maybe, Hunter, somewhere around there. Our dad purchased a nice bike, and he had a friend of his that he would ride with, and the two of them would go and climb Bethany Mountain, and they would talk about how quickly they can go up Route 42, and they would go on long rides, and they worked themselves up to a century or a metric century first, which is 100
miles. 100 miles. Yeah.
100 kilometers for a metric century or 100 miles for a century. And they just, they loved it. And it was
It sounds
infection.
a bit addiction. It sounds like an addiction, like something that once you start, you
A
kind of
lot
just
of people
get hooked.
handle it like that. Yeah, a lot of people kind of use it like that. It definitely is something that you kind of get hooked on.
It's exercise, so you've got the endorphins. It's good for your mental health because of the endorphins. You've got the heart health and just the freedom, and I could see it. I could see getting hooked on it.
So
yeah, it's
your dad
very
got
low
you
impact
going.
too. So it's low impact, so you can do it no matter what age you are. You know,
As long as you're not falling, it's low impact.
Yes, as
unlike
long as you stay
unlike
upright.
my son.
As long as you stay upright, it's low impact. So I think my dad bought a bike for our mom, and she never rode it. And I took that one. Hunter got one of Dad's old bikes when he upgraded to a JP Weigel. And then it was from there on out. It was everybody had a bike, and we would just go out it and go at it. It was awesome. It was fun when we were teenagers.
There's a techno geeky kind of side, like a nerd. I take to use this phrase lightly.
Nerd. It was a nerdy side.
There's a nerdy side to cycling as well. And when you're Dillon started working at the shop, working on people's bikes, getting to know the customer base, and like fixing bikes when he was a teenager. And like for a teenager and for a young kid, I mean, that's like you're getting an opportunity to exercise. You're getting an opportunity to compete against yourself and others. There's a community there, and you get to geek out on, like, every year there's a new piece of technology that's coming through the pipe, and you're like, yes, I want this on my bike. No matter what type of bike you're riding, there's something always to geek over.
Mm.
So it's just, I think one of the things I'm most impressed about is the length of time that you've been in business and doing this. And I mean, I remember the bike shop that you guys have now from when I was a kid. I also remember how many more there were then. There was, Baybrook Bicycles out in West Haven. There was the guy in Hamden who used to be on Skiff Street, and then he was down in the center of town. I don't know if you remember. I can't remember the name of the bike shop.
I think it was called Mount Carmel Bike Shop. Was that Mount Carmel?
Mount Carmel was down. That was the old man who was down by the highway on-ramp.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I used to buy all my...
Zapata, by the Mexican place.
Yeah. Then there was Action Sports in Cheshire. There was Action Sports.
Yep. So there was.
That's another one. Yep.
There were so many, and I mean, is it just because the mom and pop businesses are in a steady decline anyway that you see less and less? I mean, are you competing with the big box stores, the department stores, the Amazons, or is there a lack of interest in biking up until COVID took over?
No, there's always been an interest in biking, and we've always had competitors. There's, whether it be another IBD, independent bicycle dealer, mm-hmm. whether it be another bike shop, or whether it be now it's the internet. There's always competitors. I do know that there used to be way more bike shops in Connecticut than there are now, and that's not exclusive to Connecticut. That's pretty much a nationwide thing. They are a dying breed.
Because of internet sales or because of lack of ridership? Because I think ridership is going to only increase. We're becoming more of the health of America took like a decline, but I feel it's now the awareness campaigns and get out and exercise, and I feel like that's on the upswing.
Or in a month, we're going to have some really good deals on bikes when everything goes back to normal. People
they don't have bikes to sell.
There's no bikes. There's no deals.
No, not you. It's the people that already bought them that no longer use them.
The
resale market.
Like all the indoor rowers and indoor rowers and indoor spin bikes that'll be on Craigslist in 3 months when the gyms open up again.
What do you feel about Peloton? What's your theory on that? That's new.
Pelotons are great. I mean, spin classes obviously have been popular for many, many, many years. Mm-hmm. And a spin class is a great way to burn a lot of calories in a short amount of time. It's a good way to get a good workout in, and a Peloton is just a natural extension of people wanting to do that in their home. So that's great. I think the Peloton and the popularity of the Peloton will definitely lead to more people saying, hey, you know what, this riding a bike stuff is good for me. They might think back to when they were younger, riding outside, and they think to themselves, well, why can't I have both of these things at the same time? I remember riding a bike as a kid and having a good time. I'm riding this thing inside, and it's good for me. Let's go buy a bike and ride outside. So it
it's
can only
seasonal.
be a good.
Biking outside is seasonal, so if people can continue that cycle of being in shape and staying confident on a bike during the colder weather, rainy weather, I think would be more of a natural transition when the weather does get gorgeous out. Hit the pavement instead. So they could do both. One can enhance the other.
Yeah, indoor riding has taken a huge upswing in the last couple of years between
spin classes.
Between Peloton, not just indoor. When I say indoor riding, I mean in your own house. It's always been popular in gyms. Indoor riding in your own home has gotten insanely popular in the last.
I have an indoor bike sitting
years,
right there. It's true.
Because the technology has gotten so good with it. There's the Peloton. It's a nice solid bike, and there's the screen in front of you with that interaction and an instructor yelling at you if spinning is your thing. If cycling is your thing, there's Zwift, which is an app where people can ride, race, and compete, or just do group rides. It's very social and
indoor.
What's that?
Indoor.
Yes, indoor. You're in a trainer.
So
like
Swift is
it's actually what I was doing before I signed on here. I was riding with a group of people on Zwift. My computer was plugged into the trainer that I'm riding on, and that information was being fed to a virtual world, and I was riding virtually with people who were in New York City, Vermont, New Jersey, all over.
Yeah.
So what do you see on your screen when you're doing that? Do you see landscape, or is it?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Zwift with a Z, Zwift instead of Swift.
Yep.
Zwift. Okay.
It's
actually
I'm looking at a demo now at zwift.com, and it is very cool.
It is.
I'm having such a deep regret right now, because if I had thought of this better in a production manner, I totally would be on my bike right now filming this
doing
with
the
you guys.
podcast. We could all done Zwift together.
Yeah, why not?
I have a bike sitting right there.
Let's do it.
I could have taken all the clothes
totally
off
do
it.
Is there a BMX
all.
trainer? Because all I got is my BMX.
No,
you
this
can
is
put
an
a BMX bike in those
stationary.
things.
And it has these arm things I can.
I should have shared my screen with you guys at the tail end when we first signed on. I've since ended and shut it down, but I could have showed you what we were doing. But yeah, it's great. It's definitely a lot of fun, and it'll be interesting to see, like, with this, because everybody talks about like the new normal and how social distancing will continue. And I got to think that riding a bike will continue to be a good outlet for people, because it is a solitary kind of thing to do. So
you can also do it while you're taking a call. You can do it. I used to ride the bike, and I think I read one of the Game of Thrones books on a stationary. Like, you can actually get stuff done while you're exercising. And
before Zwift came along, people would watch Star Wars while they were on their stationary trainer. They'd watch a movie. They'd hunt around on the internet.
I read Game of Thrones on the Kindle on a stationary bike. So it can be done. And everybody's home now. Not everybody's home, and not everybody's lucky enough to be working from home, but a large portion of people are. Stationary bike while work from home. Talk about multitasking. That's great.
Wait a minute.
And the weather is getting better.
You could even you could like discover rare items in Zwift.
Anything you can collect.
You can go on quests.
It's like a video game.
It's a video game.
It's a video game. It's a video game.
My son might do that.
This is amazing.
He's so competitive.
This is incredible.
That's what everybody's doing while the outside is shut down.
You can ride a Tron bike.
Yep.
The Tron bike is fast and swift.
Dylan, have you gotten the Tron bike yet, Dylan?
I have unlocked the Tron bike. Yes, I have earned myself the Tron bike. I made mine blue. Cheshire Cycle blue.
Yeah,
The light
you
blue.
can change the colors in it. Yeah.
You have to climb like, I don't know, 500,000 feet in the game, and then you unlock this really fast bike that looks like the Tron bike.
That's
Oh my
like
God.
upgrading your weapons in a
Yes,
video
exactly.
game. I can definitely relate to that.
It's
You just
upgrading
powered
your
up.
machine gun in Halo.
That's pretty cool.
There are so many YouTube videos on this Zwift product.
It's a good product. It keeps people connected.
It's a rabbit hole, Corey. It's a rabbit hole.
I'm already there. You've got the top 10 hardest courses on Zwift. You've got the top 10 secret items or rare items you can get on Zwift.
Do you need that rear wheel transfer thing to use Zwift?
No, you technically do not. You can put your entire bicycle in an old school trainer, what we call now affectionately a dumb trainer, because it's not a smart trainer. Smart trainers have come out and they measure your power output. There is something called a dumb trainer, which is just what probably people are thinking of when they think of their bike being held up by a resistance unit. Your whole bike is sitting in a unit. Something is rubbing on the rear tire that causes resistance. That's a trainer. You can ride on Zwift with a dumb trainer. It's much more enjoyable with a wheel off smart trainer where your rear wheel comes off and you put it into the bicycle and you ride on the wheel off smart trainer, but you can definitely do it on an old school dumb trainer on your personal bike.
This leads me to a really deep question. You guys are like old school hardcore bike sellers, right? Are you incorporating and accepting of the technology? Do you sell that in your store as well?
Yes. Yeah, we sell Wahoo trainers and we sell Hammer trainers. These are wheel off trainers. We also sell dumb trainers, and we'll show you how to plug into Zwift and give Zwift $15 a month to enjoy online racing and competing in group rides. We'll
incorporating technology. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So the bottom line is the best thing any of us can do if we're getting into biking, or if we've surpassed our department store bike and we want to really get into the hobby, is to visit you guys. Or, for our listeners that are outside of Connecticut, I mean, I guess you could call in and order your bike, but visit your local bike shop. Because what you'll find is more guys like Dillon and Hunter that are passionate about the hobby, about the sport, about bikes themselves, and they're going to answer your questions and they're going to steer you in the right way. And I'll tell you,
and they're not going to judge you.
No, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I found a bike that I thought was somewhat decent a couple months back, maybe late summer last year, and I brought it down to Dillon and I said, "Hey, I found this bike. I think it just needs a couple tubes. Can I leave it with you? Can you tell me what you think?" And, I thought I'd come back and he'd say, "Yeah, $100. I came back a couple days later. He said, "Yeah, I went over to bike." He said, if you want to fix it, this is what it's going to cost. I think it was $150 or whatever. And he said, "But I'll tell you this, 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 and this." And he went down a list and I'm like, okay, so he's not trying to sell me on fixing this bike. He just talked me out of 2 hours of repair or whatever the case was. He didn't even try to sell me another bike. He just was like, "I think the best thing for your long-term enjoyment, your safety, is to not invest in this bike. Why don't you donate it to school and, consider getting something newer." And he pointed in a direction. He said, "If anything interests you, you want to come back, whatever." I like that. I like that I wasn't feeling pressure like he was trying to upsell. I felt like it was honest. I left the bike with you guys, and I'm sure it got donated to one of the schools you had told me about.
The New Haven Bike Co-op is where all our donations go. It's an excellent instructional thing. New Haven Bike Co-op, if anybody wants to look it up. We give all of our bikes that need a lot of work to them, and they teach kids how to fix them up.
Oh, cool. A technical skill. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I helped. I was helping Trisha.
You did. You
always, Corey, always.
And I kept the bike out of the landfill, I think. So
upcycling. That's awesome. And kids can learn on it. And they're not only just learning how to fix a bike, the technical know-how of how gears work and how one thing affects the other. That's amazing beginning mechanical knowledge.
Yeah.
And another big positive, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
There's a lot of kids on bikes now. There's a lot of kids, especially in Connecticut, because of, what Hunter's doing over there at the CCAP. There's a lot of kids on bikes from schools. Just Dodd is now, Hunter, isn't Dodd did Dodd get on that CCAP?
The CCAP is an organization I do some work for, the Connecticut Cycling Advancement Program. It's all about getting kids and youth and young adults in Connecticut better access to cycling of all types. Dodd, I'm pretty sure they've got a team. That rides regularly. So, yeah.
So
I'll tell you,
that's
I had to.
CCAP, that's ctcyclingadvancement.org for anybody who's interested.
Yep.
And
exactly.
that's to promote youth, exposing them to bike riding and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
There is a CCAP sanctioned team. The Hamden. It's based out of Hamden in Cheshire. It's kind of like a Hamden Cheshire composite team that I coach kids of all ages, 18 and under. We have 3 separate and distinct seasons: mountain biking, road cycling, so on and so forth. And if parents are interested in getting their kids on the team, well, we're not practicing now, of course, but as soon as restrictions are lifted, we'll be practicing as a team. So,
looks like you're also the marketing director, correct?
He's the social media guy.
Yeah.
I will say one thing in favor of biking. I had to bike one summer to and from college. It was the best shape I was ever in my entire life. And I played rugby for years and years and years. It was in between seasons that I did that. I came back that next season. It was the first time in my life I didn't get shin splints during an active rugby season.
Nice.
After biking for the
That's
summer.
That's
So
it was fantastic.
So it's time to get back into that, Trisha. It's time to get a new bike. Or to get to dust the one that's off in the house.
I have
there.
been very tempted, and I think this spring I would have rented one from Cheshire Bike. They do the rentals at the different places. I was ready to do that this spring, and we can't. But my kids go riding, and I don't own a bike, and I wouldn't buy one until I saw that I would use it. So I was going to start renting, and they're not. So maybe if restrictions are lifted and we all get through this on the other side, and
we had to shut our rentals down too.
But
you guys
opportunity.
You guys are looped in or tied in with our buddy Jim Jinks over at Bike Cheshire.
We love Jim.
Yeah,
town councilman Jim Jinks tied into.
He's done a lot for cycling in Cheshire. Definitely those bikes that I guess, are they free rentals or do you have to?
How does that work? $10 deposit or something.
It's free rentals.
A $10 collateral, so you get it back when you return the bike.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
That's awesome.
I work on the ones that get broken. A lot of people they get broken, so I work on some of the bikes that Jim brings down and I fix them up for him. So yeah, it's an awesome thing right there by the trail. I think Pop's Pizza has some bikes there. You go to.
That's where I was gonna go.
Yeah, and you grab a bike, man.
Not yet.
We just had Pete from Pops on.
I miss Pops. I miss being
3
by
episodes
Pops.
ago.
And that steak and cheese. Oh my gosh.
I'll have to try it.
I'll take your word for it.
What?
I'm one of those vegans.
Really?
Did you see Dylan's reaction there? Oh,
yeah. Are you a vegan too, Hunter?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
No, moderate carnivore for sure. Moderate, yeah.
I'm an excessive carnivore.
Yeah.
There you go.
Corey and I are always opposites.
I mean, to be fair, I just became vegan in January.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
So
how's it going?
It's extremely difficult.
It's going cauliflower pot roast. That's how it's going.
Yeah. I made cauliflower steaks tonight, but I also cooked
Those are actually really good.
Yeah, but I cooked a sirloin steak for my kids, and I still
the kids are doing meat? I thought the kids switched over too. Okay.
No. I don't force my beliefs and opinions on anybody. It's up to you to make your decisions, not me.
I didn't know if you were bringing meat into. I didn't know if you were bringing meat into the home.
No. Whatever. You know what? Whatever. You know, there's a few limitations on what they can do, and
Well, they're growing boys too. They need.
I was about to say, Corey, that you can just watch the news about all these meat shortages and be like, whatever.
He's already mentioned it.
I have mentioned that.
But you actually do have to care because you're buying meat for your family.
I do, but they will eat whatever is put in front of them. I mean, they're not insanely picky.
So like Spam out of a can, which there's probably no shortage of. You could just like put that right there.
No, there is a shortage of Spam.
I have never eaten Spam in my life.
I haven't either. I would. I'm not above it, man. If I was starving, I'd eat it, but I don't eat fish either. So what is going on?
So he's eating some bacon. So, I will tell you this: when I was
of course he is.
When
the other
I was
one's on a
tour,
bike. These guys are eccentric.
When I was on tour in the early '90s, we did bring a can of Spam with us on the bus. We at one point had no food in the van, in the van or the bus, and nobody touched that can of Spam.
What? What's wrong with you?
We would rather starve than even make the attempt to eat that. Now, I'll bet you
people love it.
I'll bet you that if we opened it, we all would have discovered like it's amazing.
Yep.
But
especially if you were hungry.
But we were just not hungry. We were ready to eat each other before we were going to eat that Spam.
Wow.
I'll tell you, when you started a story saying when we were on tour, I was like, he's too young for Vietnam. Like it was very, like it threw me off for a quick second. I was like, tour. I thought of like Vietnam, and then I remembered music.
No, Trisha, nobody thinks of Vietnam when you say tour.
I think they do.
No, just you.
I was on my first tour in Nam. I didn't.
So guys, I am psyched that you guys came on the show, and this has been a lot of fun.
Informational.
I would definitely like to have you guys back when COVID's over.
And we're all going to be on our bikes.
You can be on your bike now.
I'd have to drag it over.
Well, I mean, like tomorrow. You can go outside on a ride tomorrow. Go to the Cheshire Trail. It's packed.
I don't have a bike. I'd be on a broken mongoose with no brakes.
Normally, I would say come down and I'll fix that, but I can't even fix that for you. I have no.
That's all right. That's all right. The trail is packed.
You have
I have no more bikes.
Oh, no more bikes to get to sell.
To sell.
Unless you want to spend, $4 or $5 grand.
Yeah,
we can fix the bike. We can fix the bike.
We can fix the
my son's 16-inch wheeled mongoose. Imagine, I'd hurt myself. But thank you for the offer. You might still be fixing that bike.
No, it's been really great to meet you both, to talk with you, have you on the show. I knew you guys were going to be good guests. Like I said, I had a great experience every time I've been in the shop and talking with Dillon. Hunter, it's a pleasure to meet you. I do hope that you've enjoyed yourselves here, and
it was fun.
That you'll come back.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us. Great.
Sorry you had to sit on the bike the whole hour.
1 whole hour, Hunter. You spent 1 whole hour on a bike. What are you going to do?
He's like, I have my next ride in 10 minutes.
I'll make it, Trisha. Don't worry. I'll get some Gatorade. I'll be good.
Unbelievable.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. So, where can people find you online?
CheshireCycle.com. There's an Instagram too, Cheshire Cycle Instagram. There's a Cheshire Cycle Facebook, and I don't think we do Twitter. We're not wordsy.
We do have a Twitter page. We do have a Twitter account.
It's good that you do. You're supposed to.
No, that's too many words.
So start your search at CheshireCycle.com and move out from there. You can find them down by Sleeping Giant on Whitney Ave, just over the Cheshire line in Hamden. You want your bike fixed, you want to get something new, hit them up. It's a way to go. I think we've made that very clear. Trisha, you got anything else?
That's it.
That's it.
I hope your son feels better. I hope he heals from his from his
The
accident?
road rash has glazed over. No more
My
peroxide
daughter's
bubbling.
dealing from road rash right now.
He hurt the tip of he like bumped his nose on the concrete.
Ouch.
But the helmet touched nothing, but his whatever. He's 10. He bounces back literally
Yep, they do.
this
Right.
time.
I
be
had
fine. You'll
I
be
had a
fine.
nasty bike crash in Cheshire in 1991. In 1993, I was up off Summit Road. You know where Summit Road is?
Yeah.
I was doing the mountain bike trails there. I used to be an avid mountain biker. And I was on the gas pipeline coming across Summit Road. I went down the hill. I was going at a wicked clip, and somebody had pushed a boulder, a decent-sized rock, out into the path. And I didn't see it until I made a transition from, over a small cliff. It came down and endoed right into that rock, and went.
You needed help getting out of that, didn't you?
The fire department had to carry me out. I was banged up.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was banged up
Wow,
bad,
get
and
carried out.
they had to carry me out the opposite way because they couldn't carry me back up the hill because they had to keep me flat. So I had to get carried out all the way through the woods. And I went to St. Mary's Hospital. I got pictures of it. I got that helmet probably saved my life because I hit every rock for like 100 feet.
Yeah.
It was.
We all got stories
Scary.
like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Scary stuff.
It was. If I didn't have a helmet,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, wear a helmet out there, especially in the woods, everybody, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, well, thanks everybody for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed the show. As always, remember to check us out at CheshireCast.com, on Facebook at CheshireCast, or the Cheshire Podcast, on Twitter, Instagram. We're all over the place. You can listen to us on Stitcher, on iTunes, on Spotify, any of you, Podbean, all your favorite podcast apps. We're everywhere. Be on the lookout for our Patreon page, which will be going live. Hopefully all of you who enjoy listening to the show will also enjoy listening to more episodes and be willing to help us out as we continue to grow our brand. And we look forward to the future. Thanks again, Dillon. Thanks again, Hunter. And as always, Trisha, thank you so much for being my co-host every week.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see all you guys later. Dillon, Hunter, good night. Trisha, goodbye.
Be well.
On the count of 3, we all say bye together. 1, 2, 3. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.